Once I laid out my large garden bags, I actually just cut these open and lay them down on the ground, and they make the greatest spray painting surface. You can see that sometimes I have some dust lines blow over, but I've been able to get those up before with a scrub brush. So I'm just going to give these all a nice coat of white paint all the way over them, so that way when we use the printable that I'm using today, it's going to be able to have a nice base to be put on and you don't see the green popping out around the corners. Once they were all dry, I brought them back inside, and this is the free printable. I designed these myself and I'm giving them to all of you today for free. All you have to do is just click the link down below and it'll take you over to my website where you can download them directly from my website, which is virus free and safe. And I've made them in 3 different sizes: a large, medium, and small PDF printable where you can download all of them and be able to use them for your project. You also could use them for so many other things too. So I wanted to make sure that there was a little bit of overhang for everybody just in case your boxes are different sizes. Then I traced around my box with a pencil onto the actual printable to get the exact size, and now I'm just cutting them down with my paper trimmer. I'll link my paper trimmer and my tape gun down below. I get asked questions about these two all the time, which ones are my favorite, and these are my 2 favorite paper products to be using for tools. And then I'm now just going to simply adhere them to my box, whichever patterns I want. And then once it's all done, they stack away so easily whenever you're not using them. For this DIY, the inspiration came from a $299 wreath, and I'm going to make mine for $250. Now let me tell you why it was that highly priced, and I'm going to show you why in just a second. I ended up picking up some of these florals from the Dollar Tree, one of their largest wreath forms. I think it's 24 inches. And then this is what drove the price up just a little bit. I got one of these long garlands from Hobby Lobby, and well, it's not a coupon anymore, but it was half off, so it was $12.99. And then you can see some of these picks I had on hand. I'm just going to use some little sprigs here and there. And then I actually used 4 packs of these lemons. And then I didn't show it, but I had 2 long skewer sticks, and that's why the price was driven up on this wreath. But again, it's still so much more affordable than what the inspiration was. So now I'm going to take the garland, and this is the greatest way to get greenery around on your wreath. I'm just going to zip tie it all the way around, and I love how this greenery looks, which is why I went with this one. And now I'm going to come back in with these peonies that they had at the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to bring in that wire long enough to be able to loop it around that joint where the zip tie is, and then I'm just going to lock it right into place with some hot glue. Then I come in with some of it's kind of like a buttery yellow rose that the Dollar Tree had at the beginning of spring. I really wanted everything to be very light and airy on this wreath. I thought it would be really pretty. Now the inspiration does have a lot more florals, like a buttery yellow rose packed in, but I decided to go a little bit lighter and make it a little bit more my own that I liked for myself. But if you want to copy exactly the inspiration, it would probably push the wreath up to about $30, adding in some more peony roses, and they have some buttery yellow roses as well at the Dollar Tree, so you could definitely add in a little bit more. Then I brought in some daisies and then some of these wispy yellow florals. I thought these were so cute and so dainty, the way that they would just blow in the wind on my front door. And then I brought back in that long floral here that you see me sticking in. I got these at Hobby Lobby a long time ago, and I just am forever like cutting off little stems of it. And I'm just going to add that down in there, and I always like to secure everything with a tiny little dot of hot glue. Now here comes that dowel stick or the skewer stick, where I'm just cutting it down because I want to make sure my lemons don't fall off of this wreath. So I'm just going to poke it in there and hot glue those into place. That way it has something for the hot glue to lock onto, because these, if you try to put hot glue on the lemons, it's too slick of a surface. It will just come right off over time. So I'm really always a big fan of making sure when you make something, take the time to make sure that it's actually locked into place so that it doesn't pop off. So I put 3 clustered together. Now on the inspiration you'll see that those are kind of scattered around with the roses, but I really liked this look. And again, just because you find some inspiration doesn't mean it has to look exactly like it. I think that's the fun part about crafting, is you have a jump off point and then you can make it look however you want. So I added on this big bow, and here is the finished look. Look at how much money we saved. This DIY's inspiration came from Walmart. I saw this really cute banner for $13.16 and I thought, what? We could make that for pennies. Like, it's crazy sometimes what I see stores charging. I know that there's manual labor involved, because a long time ago I owned a scrapbook company and we used to mass produce our own products, and I get that, but like, even then the markup was so crazy on this little banner that I wanted to show you all that you could get this look for less, so much less. So here I am, I'm just taking some twine. You saw me tie a little loop knot on the end so we can hang up our banner. I think that's always important whenever you make banners. Always give it a nice little loop knot to hang it up. And then I cut some burlap and I'm just going to fold it right over on it. And once I've got that all locked in place and I'm happy that the twine isn't going to move around, I get the spacing right, I just add a little more glue, and then I'm going to take my scissors and cut off the end. Now we're going to repeat that going all the way down. Now this is where I made mine a little bit different than what you saw in the inspiration picture. Instead of doing a dovetail, I decided to use more of an angle point coming down, not going in. And this is going to be more of a banner look versus the dovetail banner look. I just thought this was really cute, and I wanted specifically for my decor shelf in my office. I thought it would be really cute right now for the summertime. Then I'm coming in with some lighter fabric that I had on hand, and I'm just going to fold it in half and cut out a whole bunch of hearts like the inspiration, and we're just going to glue those down and put them on. It was that easy to get this look. I mean, the savings that took place for this is insane. This DIY is going to be using this old pumpkin sign, and then some of these jumbo popsicle sticks that I pick up from Walmart, and then one of these lemons from the Dollar Tree. Now we're going to give the front of this a shiplap look, so I pulled off that little raffia bow, and I'm just going to cut these down to size so that they fit across this sign on the front. That way you can still mount it on the wall because it has the teeth hook on the back. For the very last one, I noticed that it was just a little bit too long, so I went ahead and cut that down and it fit on there nice and perfect. Then I took my hot glue and I glued them all down into place. And you can see here, friends, this is like pennies to make. This is what I tell people all the time. You can have a beautiful home, a fresh, new space with hardly any money spent. I had so much fun making this one, and it was super easy for any new crafter. Once those were all glued down, I took my X-Acto knife and I'm just cutting my lemon, not in half, but almost more so in more like a third, but even less than that. I'm so bad with fractions. I'm so sorry. But you can see that I didn't do the halfway point. I came a little bit past it because I wanted one to be a little bit bigger than the other. Once I got it apart, because they're foam all the way through, I'm taking my scissors and I'm just snipping it out so it's going to lay flat. And then I realized if I rubbed it against my cutting mat, all that roughness from me cutting on it all the time helped it smooth out the bottom so I could glue it onto my sign with no issues in it popping up. While those were done and just sitting there, I went in with some white paint and I'm going to paint over those popsicle sticks, but you can do whatever color you want. Once it was all done, I did take a wipey, by the way, and I wiped off some of it because I wanted to have more of a whitewashed look to those sticks. I made sure it was really dry, and now I'm coming back in with some E6000 and some hot glue, because sometimes hot glue doesn't lock in all the way to foam depending on how much buoyancy there is to it. So I'm using both to make sure that it doesn't come off over time. Now I have a lot of friends on here I know that like lemons, and I thought that this would just be such a fun one for a kitchen or even anywhere in your home, whatever your home's theme is. And that's the reason I wanted to do some lemon projects today. I thought that this would just be such a cute, sweet one to do. And again, super easy. I mean, look, a lot of these things I already had in my craft room and I'm using from past seasons. So then I came in with some boxwood, some florals, a little gingham ribbon right inside there, and I just played with it until I was happy with it. I wanted it to look like it was on a branch of a tree. And then I came in with some stickers and I just put on there the letters that spelled out Farm Fresh. And once I was happy with it, it's ready to be hung up. For this DIY, I took it outside and I spray painted a box from the Dollar Tree. I gave it 2 coats of white paint just to make sure the pattern was really covered and not seen. I love spray painting on these boxes more than I do using regular paint with a brush. I just feel like the finish is always so much better. So just know, for me personally, I like spray painting them and then they dry so much faster. So these are all the greeneries you're going to see me using. You can see here that I took my lemons and I put a skewer stick that I cut down to size and I stuck those in the lemons and glued them into place. And now I'm going to add some E6000 and some hot glue onto my foam square that I'm going to be pushing down into the box. Once I've got that down in there, I went ahead and I poked in a whole bunch of holes so that I can get in this boxwood into those spots. And I just pulled these off of a long garland from Hobby Lobby that I purchased, and it lasts me forever because I'm always just picking off of it and using it for my decor pieces. What a way to save a ton of money by just buying it on the long garlands and getting them half off when Hobby Lobby has them half off. And then I'm going to come in with some peony flowers and just all sorts of little cute spriggy type flowers that are just light and airy. It makes me think of summertime so much, and it really is giving you that farmhouse look without it being too over the top. I do love bright colors in my home, but I know some of you really want that farmhouse look to stay throughout the whole year, and you only want to add in maybe one color, which is a yellow color for the summertime. And this is a great way to do it. You keep your colors really neutral, and then you bring in that one pop of color just like I'm doing here. So at this point, I'm just putting in those lemons where I wanted them to be, right in the center of this decor floral piece. And then at that point, I decided I wanted to put a buffalo check ribbon around the front because I thought the yellow and the black and white would just be so pretty together and really just finish this look to give it a store-bought feel to it. This is the thing, friends. I say it all the time. Whether you're a new crafter or an experienced crafter, whichever one you are, there are so many fun things to try out there, and I hope that you will give some of my DIYs a try. I try to always be mindful of all the different levels of crafters to give everybody a chance to make something beautiful for their home. And then last, we're just going to add a bow, and it's ready to be displayed. I hope you enjoyed this video of summer decor inspiration and that you feel excited to go and craft in your own spaces. Leave a comment down below to let me know which one you liked, which one you think you will try. And I'm going to recommend a couple of videos right here at the end for you to check out if you enjoyed this one. Thanks so much for stopping by, and until the next episode, bye friends!